He's a CPA helping small businesses grow. But the biggest challenge? Finding legal answers fast while keeping client trust strong. Let's hear about how it all unfolded on Small Business Spotlight. So first, Dennis, just give us your full name and name of your company and tell us what you do and who you serve.
So I'm Dennis Goosen. My company is Goosen CPA. I tell people that I've got three different income streams, three different paths. One is local tax and just being the small town local CPA. That's about a third of my work. About a third of my work is international tax. So Canada, specifically Canada, USA tax. I work with a lot of Canadian snowbirds that have moved to the US, US manufacturing companies that are expanding to Canada, that sort of thing. And then the final third piece of the pie is auditing international charities, are based in US or Canada that are operating around the world. So I have a little bit of a hodgepodge going on, but that's about as simple as I can make it.
Great. And Dennis, why don't we dive first right into the aspect of Rocket Lawyer. Today, Dennis, just talk to me. How are you using Rocket Lawyer? How do you use it, and what do you like about it?
So I'm working as a CPA. I'm working with a lot of clients in corporations, in businesses, LLCs around the country. They're often asking me for legal questions. Of course, as a CPA, I'm not a lawyer. So when we're needing, to incorporate a company, set up a new company, or report a share transaction, or set up bylaws or something like that, that's not my area of expertise, and that's where Rocket Lawyer really steps in and is really useful for me, because we can go straight to Rocket Lawyer and get things set up, and they have the templates and the expertise to really help us out with those things.
And what caused you to start using Rocket Lawyer?
I needed exactly what Rocket Lawyer sold, which is an automated system for basic legal questions. Even some little bit more advanced legal questions, but I needed that template solution for all the different random questions that I get from my clients.
Yeah, you're a CPA, Dennis, and you're an expert in all things finances. How do you feel about not being an expert, I'm assuming, in all things law, but relying on Rocket Lawyer as a partner and helping you do that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm using Rocket Lawyer for, is just to fill in that area of expertise where I'm not the expert.
Talk a bit more about that. Let me hear a bit more about why it's so important. If you're talking to a room full of other small business owners, the aspect of what you're not the expert in, definitely get help with it. As customers rely on you, talk a bit more about why that's important. Talk to a room full of small businesses about that.
Well, of course. I mean, it's important for us to understand where we are the expert, and then where we're not, and then to partner with other experts in different fields. So, I'm a CPA. I'm an expert in accounting, auditing, tax, so forth, finances. I need an expert lawyer in my corner as well to be able to fill that, provide that role to clients. And that's where Rocket Lawyer comes in. We can get corporations set up, LLCs set up. We can get, pretty complex share structures set up. All these things that, we would be lost trying to do them ourselves, or we'd try to muddle through and waste an incredible amount of time trying to do it ourselves. But instead, we can just go straight to the expertise.
I love that. And why is the time savings so important to you? You mentioned the time savings and expertise. Let's dive into that a bit more. And especially it's cool because you're a CPA, so these things dovetail with what you do for your own clients. But the time saving, why is time saving so important for a business owner?
Some of these things, like take setting up an LLC, for example, and getting bylaws and stuff. You can do it yourself, probably. You can do the research online and go to the state website and set it up yourself. But it takes a lot of time to do that, especially if you're concerned about doing it correctly, which you should be. Using Rocket Lawyer, they've got all those solutions in place. And so, as I speak to my clients or entrepreneurs, I always tell them that their time is best spent doing what they're good at, managing their businesses in the technical expertise where they're in, whether it's sales or retail or some form of profession or manufacturing, whatever it is. Spend time doing what they're good at, where their time is best spent, and let the experts do what they're good at. And that's the most efficient way to run your business, rather than wasting a lot of time or spending a lot of time, researching, legal issues that really aren't in your ballpark anyways.
And then the aspect of the trust. I know, again, being a CPA that you are, people rely on you. I can research the things myself, but I have the trust that you've studied everything, or your team up the wazoo. Similar with Rocket Lawyer, can you talk about the trust you may have in Rocket Lawyer and being able to use it, know that it's legally sound? You said you need legal advice and you don't have to just use some other tools to do it, but Rocket Lawyer, does it give you that sense of security, I guess is my question, and safety as your own clients rely on you? Talk about that aspect.
Yeah, well, there's two levels of it. First of all, for myself, I had to develop that trust in Rocket Lawyer, which took some time when I first began using it. When I first got into practice, 15 years ago or something like that, I stepped into using it, slowly. I started using it for basic templates for setting up corporations, basic bylaws and things like that, and started, using the Ask a Lawyer function to ask some questions and gradually develop that trust. And okay, this truly is a professional product with professional lawyers backing up what's happening. The second level is for my clients, and of course, most of them, their trust is in me. I'm their accountant, I'm their CPA. I've been working with them for many years, and they rely on my recommendation. A lot of times, they'll reach out to me and say, "Hey, Dennis, do you have a lawyer that you can recommend? Do you have someone that you can point me to?" And they'll trust my recommendation. So that's incredibly important. Now that I've built that trust with Rocket Lawyer, or developed a trust in Rocket Lawyer, now I can point them to Rocket Lawyer and they'll trust that and follow my recommendation.
So that's a double whammy. So I didn't even expect that. So that's you're building the trust, and you built the trust on Rocket Lawyer, and also it's Rocket Lawyer has done a good enough job that you're able to refer it to others. Can you talk about that? If that's what I'm hearing, talk about that.
Yeah, that's correct. So I do two things. One is I refer people to Rocket Lawyer, and then also I simply use Rocket Lawyer on my client's behalf and let them know what I'm doing. That I'm using Rocket Lawyer for their legal issues. I mean, I'm referring my clients for lots of different services, whether
Sure.
it's possibly looking for a financial advisor or looking for an estate manager or whatever. They're looking for me for referrals of lots of different things, and Rocket Lawyer is an incredibly important part of that whole puzzle.
Thank you for being a referral source of Rocket Lawyer. Appreciate that very much. Wanted to talk about, do you have any specific questions or metrics that you can think about, whether you have numbers or metaphorical, but things you can say, hey, it was like this before Rocket Lawyer, now it's like this. Anything like that come to mind as you're talking about specific areas? And again, we've talked a bit, but you can say, hey, this is how we were, this is how we're now. Anything like that come to mind for you?
Yeah, I don't have specific metrics that I've actually measured or compared, but I know that, prior to Rocket Lawyer, I was doing in corporations and LLC organizations myself sometimes, and then sometimes using a local lawyer or law firm to help me get those things set up. So two things. One is if I did it myself, I was never 100% comfortable in my work and that I was doing things correctly because that's not my area of expertise. And then if I'm using a local lawyer, I had a lot of trust in my local lawyers, but I'm a virtual firm. I'm working with clients all around the United States, all around the world, in fact. And so I don't have local connections and relationships with lawyers in all the different states and different counties and so forth. And so taking the time and just spending a lot of time trying to find someone that's trusted in a different state, that took a lot of time and was somewhat risky because, usually I'm using a referral from a colleague. Whereas if I'm using Rocket Lawyer, it's one company that I trust that's got a presence in all 50 states.
Yeah, no, that global, that national coverage, I think definitely is important as well. Are you using Rocket Lawyer as well beyond just, the LLC is formation, but are you using it also in other areas of your business, or are your clients using it even in other areas that go way beyond? I know Rocket Lawyer helps with personal, estate, and law and other things like that. What's been your experience or your client's experience that you've heard back from them?
We personally have used Rocket Lawyer for our wills, for example, to set up wills and living powers of attorney, medical wishes and so forth for my wife and I and our kids, which is really useful for us. And then even moving from one state to another state and then just updating that for living in another state was really incredibly simple with Rocket Lawyer. And we referred a lot of our clients to use Rocket Lawyer's solutions for wills, for powers of attorney and things like that. We use it for, I think I mentioned using it for share transactions. selling shares to another shareholder in a corporation, things like that, corporate stuff. We've referred clients to use it for trademark work, and then we've used, I think I mentioned too, we've used the Ask a Lawyer function. So, just simply submitting questions and getting answers from qualified lawyers.
It seems like Rocket Lawyer has been a key part of your success and other things you've done, because I want to get, as we do our second interview, I want to dive into your story, but can you just talk about that or express that, if that is the case as well, just how it's been a key partner for you and helped you, if that is the case?
Rocket Lawyer has been a key part of our success, simply in giving us legal expertise in an efficient kind of one-stop shop package where we can go online and get what we need in a trusted format, in a convenient format, and be able to refer clients to Rocket Lawyer 2 for all of their needs. It's been incredibly important for that.
And what's the biggest tip you may have for small business owners, Dennis, who are looking at you? You're a CPA, you have this knowledge. What's 2 or 3 things that you're always telling your clients, tips of financial success that we can get and pick from you?
Well, I've got a ton of
Please
them,
give us a ton then. Give us a ton.
And none of them are very generic. That's the problem. They're usually very, very specific. Some of the biggest things I talk to people about are, I'm a small business. It's just me and a couple staff. Work together with other business owners, because it can be a very lonely position running a business. And most of my clients are small entrepreneurs as well. So hook up with other business owners, spend time with them, spend time talking to them. Just you need that support, you need that moral support, and so forth. Don't cheat yourself. That's another big one. Most of my clients that are in small business, they're trying to be friendly to their customers, which they should be, but they are afraid to charge what they're worth. So I'm always telling them, don't be afraid to charge a healthy amount so that you're happy doing the work that you're doing. So it seems that most of my clients are small town people. They want to do a good deal for their customers, and so they're never charging quite what they should be charging, and then they end up feeling squeezed and feeling stressed.
What happens if somebody does not charge what they're worth? Pricing is a huge challenge and a problem that I see as well for small businesses. What happens if they don't charge what they're worth? And why do you think they don't charge what they're worth? Tiffany's does it, and Louis Vuitton does it, and Bentley does it. But why do we small businesses, we often don't charge what we're worth? We undercharge, we lower the price, we fight against ourselves. So why don't they do it? And what happens if they don't?
Why they don't, there's a couple things. First of all, a lot of small businesses, we start up with no work at all, and we want to get in as much work as we can. And the easiest, quickest way to do that is be cheaper than everybody else. I'm going to be a lawn care person, and I'm going to be the cheapest guy in town because then I get all the work. The problem with that is there's always someone willing to work for cheaper than you are. And you just join this inevitable race to the bottom of trying to be the work for less than everybody else. We're scared of rejection. We don't like people saying, no, I don't like your prices. They're too high. If people they don't like rejection. And so they do that. That's what happens. And on the flip side, if you do charge what you're worth, sometimes, yes, you do have people that say no, but what you end up doing is you end up working less and making the same amount of money anyways. So really, you're better off doing that. I run the scenario with my clients all the time. Like, what happens if you raise your prices by 25%? Worst case scenario, 25% of your clients or your customers will say goodbye. Fine, you're doing 75% of the work and you're making the same money. I mean, everybody's happy then. And you charge what you're worth. You become a premium product as well. People they value your work. If all you're doing is just trying to attract customers on price, as soon as someone else comes along that's cheaper, they're going to move to the cheaper person because you've trained them to look for price.
I love it. It's powerful, powerful indeed. Dennis, one more time, give us your name, company, your name, and what's the website? What's the best way that the website or social handle that you want people to go to if they're interested in having you help them with their nonprofit or with their businesses?
Yeah, my company name is Goosen CPA, and my website is goosen.cpa. So Goossen.cpa.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for being with us.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.